Hello again. Okay, so I'm getting a laptop because I want to be able to work on this stuff when I'm not at home, right? I don't have a laptop. I'm not sure when I'm gonna do that. Probably soonish, but it really depends on how money goes. Um, but I want to learn more about how much RAM I actually need. So I'm gonna kind of try and understand that a little bit more because there's so many things that people talk about stuff and say it's really important. They're like, you need 33 gigabytes of RAM. Nobody needs 33 gigabytes of RAM. I don't think so. Very few people, unless you're like a server or something. But we're going to look at when I open a bunch of tabs, when I do the dropshipping tasks that are more computer intensive, what does it do to my computer, right? So we're going to monitor this by opening, okay, Control Alt Delete to bring up Task Manager. And then we get this thing, right? We're going to go to the performance side. Is there a better one? I guess we can just look at these numbers. Which one's better, huh? Got some little graphs here. That's cool. Open Resource Monitor. Is this better? Nah, I don't like that one. What's the easiest for you guys? This looks prettiest, I think. Memory disk, so it's the same thing, right? Just, yeah, and it's percentages. Okay, so at the moment, my resting, basically. I have some background stuff running, and I'm recording this video right now, obviously. So that's something. But this is my kind of resting CPU specs. I don't know how to make this bigger. Cool, that kind of works. Doesn't really make this part bigger. Oh, they just don't want me to see it. All right, whatever. So, this is what it looks like right now. Let's do some challenges for it, okay? So we're going to use Session Buddy to kind of scramble it a bit and then see how that affects the numbers. There's also going to be a delay because I'm recording all this live as it goes. So we're going to start off pretty low and then just keep exponentializing it until it starts to cause problems and see what we learn from it. So first off, let's look at our CPU usage. It fluctuates a bit, but it's typically around 10%. Our memory is 15%. Okay, so that's the RAM. That's the thing I'm going to pay more attention to because I want to figure out how much RAM I need in my laptop, basically. Because I might not do some of these really time-intensive tasks, but we'll see. All right, so now we're going to add the stress. We go to Session Buddy. Here we go, and go to Import. And now we're going to make a, just for habit, let's get some Walmart links. Hey, ha, I've sold this. That's funny. All right. Is that good? So why am I even checking? It doesn't matter. All right. All right. 10 tabs, right? Okay, let's do it this way. 3 tabs, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this on the other screen and just show you guys the resource monitor, and we're going to see what happens. So, okay, I'm opening them. CPU jumped. Wow, it jumped up to 70%. This is 3 tabs. Okay. The tabs are all loaded at this point, see? Woo! And then the CPU percentage goes down a bunch once the tabs are loaded. So basically, the creation of the tabs is the CPU. It's the CPU's task. But then once the tabs exist, maintaining them and working through them, that is going to use up RAM. This stuff, right? So we're now at 18%. It was at 15 before. So this is only with 3. So what happens when we close this, right? Let's close it. See what happens. So our CPU goes up for a tiny bit. Memory goes down. Interesting. Okay, so even just using 3 tabs at once made a difference. So let's triple what we're doing, right? So here we go. I'm gonna bring this back so I can show you. We're gonna import this. Oh, nope, don't do that. Import. All right, sweet. So we did 3 before, so now we're gonna do 9. All right, cool. 9 tabs. So again, I'm moving this over into my other screen and then opening it up. Well, getting rid of this first. Okay, now you guys can see these numbers. We're at usually 10%. CPU spikes up to 18, spiked up to like 70 earlier, and the RAM is at 15%. So now we're opening 9 tabs. I just clicked, and okay, yeah, the CPU's maxed at this point. Interesting that it's maxed with 9 tabs, right? I've shown you guys in videos, sometimes I open up to 150, even 200 tabs. So just because the CPU's getting maxed isn't necessarily a bad thing. What's interesting is how long it stays maxed, because you notice it's now back down to 20%, right? And our memory, we just used 6% of our memory. Or 6% more memory. Interesting. We can look at this. See, memory is pretty consistent. CPU is very jagged, up and down, right? All right, so that was 9, and I just exited out of it. See what this does. Memory's back down to 15. Interesting. All right, so now we're going to triple it again, okay? So import. That's 1, 2, 3. All right, so now we're working with 27 tabs, okay? Let's save it. Now let's see what happens. All right, opened. And the CPU spiked. All right, it's capped at 100% right now. Everything's loading over in this side. The memory is 26%, 27%, 28%, 29%. Memory's going up, 30%. Interesting, the CPU is still at 100%. You can see it chugging to load these. Hopefully you guys can see this. You might not be able to. I can't see, because I'm working with both monitors right now, I can't really see what you guys are able to see. So you can hear the audio, I know that, so I've been trying to keep talkative and everything. But as you can see, like, now I know, because I'm looking at the CPU stuff, the point where the video might screw up is while the CPU is maxed. Once it's back down and the task is accomplished, as you can see, the CPU's like stabilized again. That usually means that everything's loaded, see? You don't see any loading icons. And we can freely tab back and forth between these, right? So why don't we test something real quick here, and while this is open, so we can see all these tabs, and then also we can see our CPU stuff. Let's stop doing anything for a second. Look at these figures, see if they're stable. Our memory is at 30% now. That seems to be quite stable. The CPU is, 9-10%. Doesn't seem to matter much to the CPU that we have all of these tabs open. But let's see, what if we start navigating through these tabs? So I'm going to just start weaving, right? 20%, 24%, 26%. Look at that. Now we're using the CPU. And the RAM went up as well. I don't know if that might be coincidence, though. What if we stop? What happens then? All right, CPU stabilized again. It's now running at 10%. The RAM, I think, just naturally hit 31%. Interesting. Okay, so, all right, we did that. So 3 times more, right? Let's keep it exponential. All right, here's Session Buddy, and we're going to copy this. And we're going to go to import. 1, 2, 3. All right, we're at 81 tabs now. We're going to start getting into some messy territory. So we're in the other window. And actually, I guess I don't even need to. No, I do need to be in the other window, because otherwise it's going to get rid of all this. So look at that. Our memory's back down because we got rid of everything. CPU's back stable. And now we're opening everything. CPU has maxed. It's at 100%. Memory is already right off the bat 23%, 26%. Interesting. I'm almost absolutely certain that you guys are not going to be able to see the video at the moment, or at least very scatteredly going to be able to see the video, because even this software that I'm using right now, they're just basic Windows Task Manager, is chugging, and the frame rate on the graph is pretty low. But I can see that the CPU's maxed at 100%. It's staying maxed like that. The RAM has really gone up. We're up to 55, 56, 57%. I wonder what happens when we go past that. Because, I mean, this is only 8 tabs. I've opened up way more than that before. I've opened up like 200. I've tried to open up 400, and that just didn't work. It's funny because the CPU immediately just stopped. It didn't even like chug. It was just like, nope, everything's cool. We're not even gonna try that. That's too much. And I think that might have been because I overdid the memory. It looks like that's what it is, because this is 80 tabs and it's already taken up like about 40 additional percent. So I couldn't once I theoretically double it. So next iteration should pass 100%. That should cause a problem. We're gonna see what that does though. It looks like our CPU is back to normal. That's awesome. And the RAM is at a 54%. So we used a bunch of RAM there. Crazy, right? All right, let's triple it again. Oh, actually, let's navigate through this a little bit. See if it uses more of the... Oh, look at that. It jumped. The CPU does seem to be a little bit higher now. It was closer to 10% before. Now it's jumping a lot. So at this point, it does seem to be affected by these tabs. But the memory is affected way more. So let's see how much. We're just clicking on stuff, right? Oh, CPU's half. Look at that. It's jumping. What if we really quickly go through tabs? We flash through them like this, right? Can we get it past 40? No, it seems to be okay with that. What's more complicated than back? Nah, doesn't matter. Wow, really doesn't matter. It's because I've loaded all of them now. Clicking. Interesting. All right. Get rid of that. Chugs for a bit. Tries to realize it deletes everything. See it? 99%. Spikes. And now memory's actually below what it was before we started doing this. That's kind of weird. All right, so now this is going to be the iteration that I think is going to screw things up, because it's going to cause a kind of a long screw up with my audio and visual. So whatever. This is, it's supposed to be an informative video. See what we learn about our computer's limits and all that kind of stuff. So 243. This, I'm pretty sure, is going to fail. Let's see. All right. Double clicks. All right. There we go. CPU maxed. And, oh, look. Oh, it's doing it. Look at that. Oh, there was a little, interesting, right? It hit the max, and then it went back down. And then it hit the max, and then it stayed there. Normally, it just hits it, and then it continues. Whereas this time, we're trying to load 283 tabs, right? So our memory is climbing. Our CPU usage is maxed. What happens if we start trying to move around this window before it's loaded? Let's see that. You guys might not be able to see any of this. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't think so. Well, that's all right. We're just going to put this back here. You can hear me talking. Hopefully that's enough to understand what's going on before the video catches up. This is, well, I should probably do it one more time, actually. I was going to do this as the last one, but I thought it was going to break it, and it didn't break it. It's actually loading all of these. I'm confused by the memory, though. It seems to be... We'll see what it finishes at, but right now it's at 53%. Maybe it just hasn't loaded everything. It jumped higher before. And these are also... Each web page is the same. I don't know if that helps it. I think it still loads each one, but that might make it a little bit more efficient. Yeah, so the CPU is maxed right now. Still maxed, obviously. Oh, man. I'll probably just, when I do the next one, I'm not going to make you guys sit through all of this. What I'm going to do is just kind of break it and then talk about what's happening and then just cut the video. Because it's going to be the same thing, but I just want to see how much it takes for it to fail to load. Give me some kind of error message, I should be timing this. I guess the timestamp, well, yeah, it's a video, isn't it? Well, that'll be easy, won't it? I should timestamp that and see, actually, if, I'll do this eventually, but if one of you guys wants to do me a favor, you could look at the amount of time it took each one of these iterations I just loaded, right? Because it's exponential, right? So each time I multiplied it by 3, you get to see if it took 3 times longer, or if it's not that simple, Maybe it was something else. But we still haven't loaded everything. Man, This is taking forever. We're going to hit our memory cap pretty soon. We're at 84% of our RAM. It's slowly going up. It's 85, 86. CPU is still maxed. 87%. Maybe. Ooh, what happens when it hits 100? What that's going to do? 89%. 90%. Oh, I want it to hit 100. Come on, hit 100 when the CPU is still going. What happens then? Does it just fail? Just can't load anymore? What happens when I start trying to interact with them and move it around when it's at 100? Obviously, the CPU can't apparently do anything else at the moment. But 95%? Oh, look at this. We're getting pretty close. 96. Oh, here we are. Real close. I have a feeling it's about to finish loading most of the things, though. 97%. Oh, 96. Whoa, it just went down. Oh, yeah, here we go. CPU is finally letting go. Well, it's going between 99 and 100. Interesting. It's no longer maxed, but it's almost maxed. That's unusual. Normally what it does is it just spikes all the way down. But now it's going from 80 to 100. Interesting. Normally it just stays maxed. 83, 82, maxed. What's it doing? The memory's gotten pretty close. 95, 96. All right. Let's start screwing with things. I'm clicking in tabs, all right, and there is obvious visual lag when I click in a tab. The CPU, oh, everything's loaded. The CPU is all good now. We're good. What? Clicking with it? It was probably just a random correlation. Our memory, though, is at 96%. That's really high. All right, so I'm only clicking on the visible tabs here. How do we, let's like start interacting with all the other non-visible tabs, because there's like 280 things here. Look at this. Okay, so we're quickly going back and forth here in between these tabs. CPU's at like 50 as like basic operations now. And our memory is maxed. Alright. Let's see what happens when it can't even load the tabs. I'm not going to wait and push you guys through all of this. So I just exited. There's obvious visual lag here again. Can see it still hasn't closed. It hasn't recognized that I've exited everything. Okay, the button's been clicked.